Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. You know, I always end up saying the same things in a lot of my videos, and that's because, history tends to repeat itself, or I guess trends and stereotypes are trends and stereotypes for a reason. Just the other day I said something along the effect of, every leftoid in any argument has a little checklist that they gotta work their way through. Anytime they face criticism, there's only a couple appropriate responses, either misogyny, sexism, racism, every ism you could imagine, or any criticism lobbed towards them is somehow violence, hatred, bigotry, some sort of harassment campaign. Woe is me, I'm the victim. Every single frickin' time. Anytime Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is involved in some sort of controversy, says something dumb and the internet is clowning on her, she always plays the victim card. That's the leftist modus operandi. That's what they do. It's their most powerful tactic. Well, friends, the left has become so incredibly predictable these days that you know what they're gonna say before they even say it. I'm sure you guys have been following the absolute storm on Twitter relating to the former Harvard school president, Claudine Gay. Well, I just got some stuff to show you guys relating to that topic, and of course I'd like to inject a dose of, basic reality to the conversation here, because the left is living in some sort of cuckoo fantasy land. Let me show you guys exactly what I mean by that. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, I just gotta show you guys this. Here's a tweet from Colin Wright on the 19th of December 2023. He says, prediction: Harvard president Claudine Gay will resign, but she will not admit any wrongdoing. Instead, she will claim to be the victim of a racist right-wing witch hunt that is impacting her mental health and causing a needless distraction from students and faculty. Now, all credit to Colin Wright, because he hit the nail directly on the head, and I'm sure he's a swell guy and probably highly intelligent, but I really feel as though anybody could have made this prediction. Of course, the funniest part, that's exactly what happened. Here's the official resignation letter from Claudine Gay. Dear members of the Harvard community, it is with a heavy heart but a deep love for Harvard that I write to share that I will be stepping down as president. This is not a decision that I came to easily. Indeed, it has been difficult beyond words because I have looked forward to working with so many of you to advance the commitment to academic excellence that has propelled this great university across centuries. But after consultation with members of the corporation, it has become clear that it is in the best interest of Harvard for me to resign so that our community can navigate this moment of extraordinary challenge with a focus on the institution rather than any individual. It is a singular honor to be a member of this university, which has been my home and my inspiration for most of my professional career. My deep sense of connection to Harvard and its people has made it all the more painful to witness the tensions and division that have riven our community in recent months, weakened the bonds of trust and reciprocity that should be our sources of strength and support in times of crisis. Amidst all of this, it has been distressing to have doubt cast on my commitments to confronting hate and to upholding scholarly rigor, two bedrock values that are fundamental to who I am, and frightening to be subject to personal attacks and threats fueled by racial animus. Hello? What am I even reading here? Mrs. Claudine Gay, just to refresh your memory, sparked controversy during her testimony in front of the House.
The answer is yes. And Dr. Gay, at Harvard, does calling for the genocide of Jews violate Harvard's rules of bullying and harassment, yes or no?
It can be, depending on the context.
What's the context?
Targeted as an individual, at an individual.
It's targeted at Jewish students, Jewish individuals. Do you understand your testimony is dehumanizing them? Do you understand that dehumanization is part of anti-Semitism? I will ask you one more time. Does calling for the genocide of Jews violate Harvard's rules of bullying and harassment? Yes or no?
Anti-Semitic rhetoric.
And is it anti-Semitic rhetoric?
Anti-Semitic rhetoric when it crosses into conduct that amounts to bullying, harassment, intimidation, that is actionable conduct, and we do take action.
So the answer is yes, that calling for the genocide of Jews violates Harvard Code of Conduct, correct?
Again, it depends on the context.
Where she in fact refused to condemn supporting terrorist organizations. Then it turned out that she had a long history of plagiarism, which is possibly the worst academic crime that you could commit. And now we're supposed to sit here and accept Claudine Gay's framing that she's the victim of a right-wing attack? Give me a friggin' break. The Associated Press wrote, Harvard president's resignation highlights a new conservative weapon against colleges: plagiarism. What? Here's a random Twitter user. Gay resigned because racists bullied her. The first black president of Harvard. Unforgivable. Here's the New York Times' Mara Gay, who says that Claudine Gay's resignation is an attack on diversity.
The thing that really disturbs me is the unrelenting campaign from the right and from some conservative activists to slander, discredit, and ultimately, I guess, somebody used the phrase, we've claimed a scalp, I think, on social media, to essentially unseat Gay and other presidents as well, when they don't like, not just the handling of the horrific attacks on Israel on October 7th, the way that was handled on campus, but really anything else that they don't like about not just these presidents, but actually what they would call wokeism on campus. So this is really an attack on academic freedom. It's an attack on people who are pluralists and believe that you should bring people from all over the world together of diverse backgrounds, and that you actually have more scholarly rigor and more value can be brought by having people from different backgrounds. This is an attack on diversity. This is an attack on multiculturalism.
And here's a piece from Politico that claims that there was a right-wing coordinated campaign that helped engineer the departure of the head of the most influential university in the world. A right-wing campaign. I find that so hard to reconcile in my mind. A right-wing campaign. I feel as though the most influential and the loudest group to be calling on the former Harvard president to resign were Jewish activist groups. I mean, the whole core of the controversy wasn't even necessarily the plagiarism, but rather the accusations of anti-Semitism and just the ridiculous things that she said during her testimony. And take 2 seconds to Google Jewish voters, Democrat, Republican, just put literally those 4 keywords in, and this is the first thing that pops up. In the 2018 midterms, Jews were again the most Democratic group as designated by religious identity, with 79% voting for Democrats, while 17% voted for Republicans. So let's call it the Jewish lobby, mostly led by this man, billionaire Harvard alumni, Bill Ackman, is not done pushing for changes after the president's resignation. Bill Ackman and other influential Jewish activists spearhead of this accountability project, but somehow now it's a right-wing cancel mob. Claudine Gay got exposed as a plagiarist. She got exposed, I guess, as an academic fraud, and that came after her horrible testimony, and now somehow it's our fault and we're racist. Completely insane. Like, absolutely insane. And now the left-wing media is jumping through hoops to defend her. This is a real segment from CNN.
These plagiarism allegations, where Claudine Gay has had to issue corrections, multiple corrections. Now, we should note that Claudine Gay has not been accused of stealing anyone's ideas in any of her writings. She's been accused of sort of more like copying other people's writings without attribution. So it's been more sloppy attribution than stealing anyone's ideas. But nonetheless, you put all of that together.
She's not accused of plagiarism in the sense that she stole other people's ideas. She's accused of, I don't know, sort of like more copying other people's writings without attribution. In other words, plagiarism. You know, just like how those riots back in the summer of 2020 were actually mostly peaceful protests. It's completely ridiculous. And now leftists are trying to reframe the narrative. Here's Representative Jamal Bowman, who wrote, "This isn't about plagiarism or anti-Semitism. This is about racism and intimidation. This makes no one safer. The only winners are fascists who bullied a brilliant and historic black woman into resignation. 2024 will be the battle for truth, democracy, and our shared humanity." Now, I'm not exactly sure how the resignation of a disgraced Harvard president, I'm not sure what that has to do with the 2024 election being about truth and democracy, but he got fact-checked pretty hard in the community notes. The Harvard president resigned after a probe into her anti-Semitic policy stances and extensive plagiarism. Harvard did a probe, they investigated her, and she was forced to resign. She probably should have resigned like 4 weeks ago, but of course not. Leftist entitlement is a frickin' hell of a drug. But honestly, what comes to mind right now is I don't get why the left is throwing such a hissy fit. We're seeing reports that supposedly Claudine Gay is keeping her $900,000 a year salary without even having to work, and she's probably gonna fail upwards. news. Most likely, Claudine Gay is going to become a regular on MSNBC. Who knows, she might even get her own show on MSNBC, or who knows, maybe she'll get a coveted spot working for the Biden administration, or working for some major teachers union. Obviously, like most of these leftoids, she's probably going to fail upwards, and most likely get replaced with, yet again, another incompetent woke clown. That's pretty much the Claudine Gay situation. Her response as predictable as it gets, and of course the media and Democrat response as dishonest and disingenuous as it always is. Anyways, that's what I got for you guys on this one. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.